Today, we are going to talk about the pandemic and what we can do to stop it. During the pandemic, although we take many adaptations, we do miss the old days and really want life to go back to normal. However, it is possible if only we can win the battle against the COVID-19. But how? How to win? Let's talk about it. I summarize it into the triple S principle: sympathy, shutdown, and strictness. We know that the coronavirus happened in Wuhan, China, and then it spread to European countries, and then to the United States. Actually, there's quite a time of delay between the start of the virus and when it hits the United States. Even newsletters say that the once widely criticized Wuhan quarantine bought the world time to prepare for COVID-19. However, are the countries around the world well prepared? Certainly not. Why? Let me tell you the story of my personal experience. In early February, when the number of cases in the United States is only a handful, I talked about the virus and the tragic stories in China to my American friends, who listened with sympathy. But then he said, well, it may not affect us. In the late February, when the coronavirus hit European countries, we discussed it again, and I got a response that it may not affect us. In late March, the virus came to the United States, and then my American friend just said, well, it may influence the elder people or people with pre-medical conditions, but it may not affect us. However, if the people that are in the lockdown cities are your close friends, if the people who are struggling in the ICUs are your family members, will we still take it so easy? Shall we start to take prevention actions as soon as we can? Without sympathy, we will not take actions, and we will not feel the strugglings that other peoples are experiencing. In this time of difficulty, we need to protect each other. Sympathy is powerful. It can make actions possible. The second key is shutdown. This is the statistics of the daily new cases in China. How can such amazing statistics happen? That is because of lockdown. On January the 23rd, Wuhan was locked down. 18 million people were just under very strict lockdown, and it is effective. On April the 8th, Wuhan reopened because the cases dropped almost to zero, and it is well under control. That moment became a historical event to declare the victory against the coronavirus in China. There are also other examples. That is what is happening now in Israel. On September 18th, Israel took the second lockdown and the number of cases dropped exponentially. We know that if we have very strict lockdown and reopen very carefully, then the virus will just disappear in 2 or 3 months. The third key is strictness. We need to follow the health guidance strictly. This is a study of the prediction of the total deaths under different conditions. If the mandates are easing, then the curve is going to be as this blue curve. However, if everyone wears face masks, then the total deaths will follow the green curve. So, if we follow the health guidance strictly, we can save thousands and thousands of lives. However, if we do not follow the guidance, we do not have social distancing, we do not wear face masks, then that is what happened, just like the outbreak in the White House. We also need strictness in the supervision of implementation of this health guidance. For instance, we can use drones for the tasks of supervision. In China, drones are used widely in the period of quarantine. The drones usually carry a camera so that the police can see what is going on, and a speaker so that they can broadcast to the people. For instance, 2 people came outside, but they didn't wear face masks. The drone saw them, and the police just talked to them through the speaker. Grandma and Grandpa, you are not wearing face masks. Go home quickly. After getting the warning, these people just returned home, and this man even took out the face mask and put it on. These actions are effective. However, this may sound crazy. Are these actions possible in this free country? Well, let me tell you. It is always easy to take no actions or limited actions, and it is always easy to blame someone else for the crisis, just as blaming China for the coronavirus, as what President Trump did. It is always hard and even painful to put forward effective actions that may transgress the old conventions. However, in the history of the United States, there is one such example. That is the Great Depression and the Roosevelt's New Deal. At that time, the free market was mainstream and seems to be unshakable. When the Great Depression happened in 1929, the Hoover government was reluctant to take actions. President Hoover even said that the crisis may end in a few months. Sound familiar? The virus will disappear in a few months. However, the crisis continued. Roosevelt's New Deal did transgress the old conventions and the mainstream values. However, eventually, this president led the United States to come out of the Great Depression. With sympathy, shutdown, and strictness, we may suffer for a short period of time, but we can save thousands and thousands of lives and enjoy a better quality of life in the near future. Let me end with the Wuhan reopening ceremony. Hopefully, such day will come to the United States soon.
This is how Wuhan actually began the celebration of the end of its lockdown. Right at the stroke of midnight, the city marked its reopening with a spectacular light show. Buildings across the city lighting up in tribute to the local healthcare workers who fought and many who died as well, trying to get the virus under control. On embankments and bridges, people waved flags and chanted a chant. I don't think we're going to see this here, but Wuhan, let's go, which was one of the things that we heard from them when the lockdown first began as a bit of a rallying cry. And they also were singing the national anthem. There's a lot of recovery still to go in Wuhan, but at least for today, a lot of light, a lot of color, and a reason for many to smile.
好，这是我们今天看到的第一辆从武汉西，武汉加油，加油！
久违的感觉，开始堵车啦！
支付宝到账7元。
在这一刻，我感觉这个英雄的城市，我熟悉的这个城市又回来了，而且我觉得它正在涅槃重生。